Visit to learn more.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach here on behalf of my friends at American Financing. Let's do some honest math. The interest rate on your credit cards, 20% or more. Your mortgage rate, much lower. So why are you sending hundreds of dollars a month to credit card companies when your home's equity could wipe out that debt? That's exactly what American Financing helps homeowners do. And they're doing it every single day for people just like you. Consolidate, collaborate, conquer. The average customer saves around $800 a month, and you may delay 2 mortgage payments and may close in as fast as 10 days. American Financing's salary-based mortgage consultants are licensed in all 50 states. No upfront fees, no obligation. Stop financing your past and start funding your future. Call them at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000, or visit them online at americanfinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Summer weather can be full of surprises. If your home has been affected by the recent storms, trust a local professional roofer with decades of combined experience. Golden Spike Roofing is here for all your repair or roof replacement needs. Call today for a free inspection and estimate for roofing done right down to the last nail.
Call Golden Spike Roofing when your roof needs a fix. 303-942-1386. Golden Spike Roofing.
Colorado's turning 150 years old this month, but if your windows are failing, that could be costing you money on energy bills. Intense summer heat can cause failed seals, drafts, and condensation. Gravina's Window Center of Littleton can help. Gravina's Window Center of Littleton brings over 50 years of expertise. Save 25% on Infinity by Marvin Windows. Call Gravina's Window Center of Littleton today, or visit them at windowsforyourhome.com. That's windowsforyourhome.com.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Free at every AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Out here, you know the drill. Animals are hungry, dogs are getting muddy, and you just noticed you're low on feed. Stocking up at Tractor Supply is easy on your wallet with our unbeatable prices on select shavings, retriever dog food, and Producer's Pride animal and poultry feed. From backyards to barnyards, we've got everything to keep your pets, animals, and livestock well fed and comfortable with low prices all summer. At Tractor Supply.
Are you looking for the perfect engagement ring? Hi, I'm Scott Matthew with Matthew's Fine Watches and Jewelry. We have a great selection to choose from. If you're looking for that one-of-a-kind custom ring, our associates will take the time with you to design that ring that she will love, and her friends will go crazy over. At Matthews, when you purchase your ring and Centerstone, you'll receive 20% off your wedding bands. Make the right choice. Come to Matthews and save.
Matthews Fine Watches and Jewelry, located in the Highlands Ranch Town Center or online at matthewsfinewatches.com.
When disaster hits your home, it's game time. Water in the basement, fire damage, mold creeping in. Don't sit on the sidelines. Call Able. Able Restoration is your first round draft pick for emergency response, mitigation, and full rebuild. We move fast, protect your property, and fight for you with insurance start to finish. This isn't practice. This is your home. And when it's time to step up and protect what matters most, bring Able to the table. Call 303-590-5600. That's 303-590-5600. Go Able.
Bring Able to the table.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call the 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver.
Powered by Regen RX. It's The Drive with Zach By and Philip Lindsay. Welcome to Denver Sports Tonight, taking a look at the biggest stories in Denver sports. From your online home for the best opinions and information on the Broncos, Nuggets, Avalanche, Rockies, and more. DenverSports.com.
Getting into the weekend,
In fact, I think we're at the weekend. Mike Rice, Dante Gomez, Denver Sports Tonight. Dante, happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Mike.
Yeah, man. I'm glad we made it this week.
And it's the last Friday without Broncos football.
Oh, my gosh.
Right? Next Friday, they'll be on the field.
Yeah, preseason is here. Can you believe that?
Oh, I watched the whole game last night. My boy Carson Beck, the future of the Arizona Cardinals franchise. I was tweeting. It's crazy, though, that he's going to start and end his career in Canton, Ohio. What are the odds?
Oh, listen to you. Listen to you. Goodness. Counting those chickens already, are we? Counting the chickens. Yeah, and how about Haynes King, man?
Oh, my gosh. What a crazy end of the game. I was on the wrong side of that one. I had placed a small wager on the Cardinals, so went down to the wire. But it was one of those where I'm not happy to lose, but it was worth losing because of how great the ending was. And it's just like, wow, football is back.
Yep.
It just, I don't know, it just really made me excited for the rest of the season going forward.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm not one that really likes NFL preseason. I really don't. But it was just good to see football again. As you said, good to have it back. I will say, though, I'm not even a betting guy, but I'm smart enough to know that not preseason, bro. Come on.
It's fun.
As long as it's small.
I did pretty it's of course the score. Nothing too crazy. I did pretty well last year on preseason. I'm big into researching the backup quarterbacks or knowing where they went to college and being like, oh, this guy can actually play, this guy can't. And that's the key to betting on preseason football is know the backup quarterbacks.
Okay, it's all about the backup QBs in the preseason, and maybe the third teamers and fourth teamers. And then when there used to be 4 preseason games, it was always, the fourth preseason game is a roll of the dice. Now it's the third one because starters don't even play. It's the roster bowl. What guy or two will flash enough to secure that maybe 1 or 2 roster spots that are left? Because there usually aren't very many.
Yeah, I got to catch up on, speaking of that, I got to catch up on my Hard Knocks. They're doing the Seahawks this year, and I've seen a couple clips that have come out, but I actually haven't watched the show yet, so I got to dive into that.
There you go. What about your impressions? I know you have been out at Broncos camp quite a bit through the first week plus. This first full week is in the books. As you mentioned, the preseason slate will start next Friday at the Mercedes-Benz Dome or Stadium down in Atlanta. Then 2 weeks from tonight, Green Bay is here in Denver. Friday, August 28th, Minnesota comes to town, so the 3 preseason games are set. Overall, do you think that the Broncos are about where you hoped or thought they would be after a week plus?
Yeah, they look good on both sides of the football. They each have their own turns of going out and excelling. The injuries have become quite a concern, and I'm sure we're going to dive into that here pretty soon as well, but yeah, the offense has looked good at times, and then the defense has looked great at times, which is a little bit more of what we expected, I'm guessing, or at least what I expected, just based on the last 2 years of what this Broncos defense has done, and especially once they put the pads on. My goodness, dude, this defensive line gets after the quarterback, and they're not actually tackling the quarterbacks on these occasions, so some of the plays get to continue on and they throw the ball down the field or whatnot, but everyone that's viewing knows that would have been a sack there, and these guys are impacting the quarterbacks. We have Bo Nix escaping the pocket, Jarrett Stidham escaping the pocket, Sam Ehlinger escaping the pocket. Ehlinger, by the way, I was a hater. He might have turned me. He's looked really good in camp so far, good enough that I'm going to say that he has a legitimate chance to be the number 2 quarterback here. Maybe not this year, but going forward after this year, Stidham's contract, this is the final year of that. So I think Ehlinger could be the long-term backup here in Denver if everything goes well. He has really impressed me. Not pushing for the starting job or anything like that, but from what I thought he could do, he's really impressed, especially from the pocket, because I was questioning his ability to throw the ball and throw the ball down the field accurately. I knew he was a great athlete always, but he's been able to compete from the pocket as well.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I don't think it's going to be Ehlinger this year, barring some sort of injury to Jarrett Stidham. But I think after this year, I would fully expect Stidham to move on, and then, as you mentioned, Ehlinger to take over as the number 2. I really would. It at times can become an economic decision. That may come into play. But for this year, you don't mess with it because all 3 guys get along. All 3 guys seemingly like each other and have a good rapport. And was it Zach who mentioned earlier this week that Ellinger bought a house near Bo Nix?
He did say that. He couldn't reveal his sources.
Well, we
but
wouldn't want him to do that.
That is fair. I was questioning, though. I mean, Bo Nix, what are we doing? You're buying a house in a neighborhood that a practice squad guy's buying a house in? Feels like a franchise quarterback needs to maybe be in a better neighborhood.
It's his buddy,
man. No offense to Ellinger, no offense to anybody on the practice squad.
Or in the neighborhood.
Or in the neighborhood, but there feels like different tax brackets there.
Well, not yet. Once Bo gets the new contract, he's,
I guess that's true. Maybe he's still waiting on that.
Yeah, although he still is on a first-round contract. Then that's not exactly chopped liver, right? 303-713-1043, the RamosLaw.com text line. You can also check out the Fan YouTube page, and the YouTube chat is powered by Champ Honda if you want to contribute to the show that way. We appreciate your being along. Here's something on the RamosLaw.com text line that I don't think has come up a lot, and I think it's worth at least a mention and perhaps a short discussion. From the 9641, if Stiddy is not going to be here moving forward, then trade him and get something. Would you be in favor of that?
Depends what you're getting, but if you can get a 4th-round pick or anything better than that, absolutely pull the trigger at this point. It doesn't appear to be a big drop-off between Stiddy and Ellinger. If anything, I think Ellinger actually replicates Bo Nix's game a little bit better than what Stidham can do, just with the athlete that Ellinger is, the athlete that Nix is. So I would sign up for that at this point based on what I've seen. Maybe let's wait till we see some games and have Ellinger prove it in a real game situation. But based on practice, I would be ready to pull that trigger.
I'm not sure. I'd be really careful about that. I would. And when you're in a Super Bowl window and your quarterback room is as seemingly set and is as tight as the Broncos QB room seems to be, I don't know that messing with that for a day 3 pick is something I'd be really careful. I would, because draft picks look really good, and then all of a sudden Stiddy's not there, and I don't know, maybe Ellinger gets hurt, maybe something happens, maybe Bo gets a little upset over it. I don't know. I'm just not sure I'd mess with it this year because.
But it's not like Stidham went out and impressed that much last year when he was thrust into starting.
But it's not even about the play, because if Bo gets hurt, then we all sort of know what the likely fortunes for the Broncos will be. It's more about the chemistry. It's more about the room. It's more about the camaraderie. It's more about everybody being not just pleased with, but feel that that's all in place as a foundational element. And then, all right, we're just going to focus on football. We're all going to help each other get better in that room, whatever the role is for those guys. That's the way I look at it more. Again, I wouldn't totally.
But it's not like you're cutting Stidham in this situation. You are trading him to a spot he still is on. He's going to be on a roster, just a different roster.
Right.
I think if you're cutting Stidham, then that could cause a weird dynamic in that room. But if you're trading him, I think you could wipe your hands clean and say, hey, we got good value.
Well, you definitely could get good value, but that doesn't make it. That doesn't sell it to the guys necessarily. I mean, they know it's a business. I think you just got to be careful. I'm a little more conservative when the Broncos are where they are, when they're right on the doorstep of a Super Bowl appearance, when they're a team that is one of the contenders. And I feel very comfortable that it's a, they're a contender for a Super Bowl. Hey, look, this is not high on the priority list. It's just a fun little discussion to have. Not according to the 1931, who can't believe this is a discussion, but hey, we all get our opinion. That's okay. I get it. Want to get your thoughts on Bo's first week, Dante, because you saw him quite a bit out there.
Let's say up and down would be a good way of putting it. I thought he really struggled. I thought the whole offense really struggled once the pads came on, which I believe was that Monday, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yes,
so
I think
Monday,
that's right.
Tuesday, the offense did not perform all that great. Couldn't run the ball much at all. The most success they really had was with the second or third strings out there, going against second and third string defenses as well. So there's that caveat. But yeah, Bo Nix did not look great Monday, Tuesday. turned it around a little bit Wednesday, in shells on Thursday, so there wasn't too much to take away from that. So definitely growing. I will say the one thing that I would like to see more from Bo Nix at training camp, and it was the biggest criticism that everybody had with Bo Nix last year, throwing the ball downfield. I would love to see just a little bit more put your foot in the ground and really launch one. This is the place to do it. The setting, at least, where you can go out there and make some mistakes, put the ball in harm's way, and it's not necessarily detrimental to what's going on out there. So I would like to see him just push the ball a little bit more, which we had discussed as well, that maybe in this new Davis Webb offense, they would be throwing it down the field more explosive plays. So I would say that is still just a little lingering something I'd like to see out there, but he looks in command. There's no question that he's going to go out there and be the starter. He's making more checks at the line from what I noticed as well, so definitely seems to be more comfortable in the offense in year 3.
Yeah, and we talked before training camp began. This was probably, a month ago, maybe 6 weeks, and we talked about over-unders for Bo. And what I was thinking, listening to Zach and Phil earlier, and Phil's clamoring like most running backs do for the Broncos to run the ball more. And you talked about more balance, and I would like to see them be a little bit more balanced. And I don't know if the fact that in the first week of training camp there's been more of an emphasis on the passing game, I don't necessarily know how that's going to translate into the regular season. I don't. Do I think the Broncos are going to sling the football around? Yes, I do think that in general. Will Davis Webb potentially run the ball more? I think there's a possibility. But I thought it was worth a revisit, given the fact that we saw the Broncos really work on the passing game a lot, to the point where Waddle's banged up, Marvin Mims went out, Cortland Sutton, there's been the discussion about why did he get 2 days off this week, and is there an injury? Is there something else going on? We don't really know. It's worth a re-ask of you, Dante. Bo Nix led the NFL with 612 pass attempts last year. That's 36 per game over a 17-game schedule. That's a lot of pass attempts on average in an NFL game. And at the time, when I asked, would you expect the Broncos to be, and Nix to be over or under that figure this year, we both said under. Are you still of that opinion after a week of training camp when they threw the ball a lot?
They did throw the ball a lot, and to me it really comes down to J.K. Dobbins and his health, because we saw, not fully, but we saw those numbers really get high towards the end of the year. I mean, 47 passes against Jacksonville, 38 against the Chiefs, 38 against Vegas, 34 against Green Bay. So those numbers seem to be really high once J.K. Dobbins got down. That's not to say they weren't high the whole season. I mean, 50 attempts against the Giants earlier in the year when we did have a healthy JK then, too. So I expect numbers to be maybe similar to what we've seen, just given the fact that the brain trust of this Broncos offense is 3 quarterbacks, and quarterbacks like to throw the ball. I hope it's a little bit more balanced than what we've seen in the past, and J.K. Dobbins gets his fair share amount. R.J. Harvey looks like he's going to be a big factor in this Broncos offense as well, but he might be a big factor catching the ball as well from what I've seen out there. He is a offensive weapon. I mean, the speed is there, the hands are there. He can run the ball, but it looks like he still likes to bounce outside on some of these runs, get in space, which no fault here. If that's what your game is, that's what your game is. So I'd like to see it be a little bit more balanced, and also Jonah Coleman's going to be in the mix too. So I just don't know how realistic that is with these 3 guys at the helm, but we'll see.
So all of that, I like a good politician, you dodge the question. Do the Broncos average more or fewer than 36 pass attempts per game?
I'm gonna go fewer.
I'm a little bit
very close, but just fewer.
Yeah, before I can't remember what you were at. I was in that sort of 29 to 31 range, thinking that's probably with the way they brought JK back and drafted Coleman and RJ still having a role. That probably seems right. I think it's going to be a little bit more, a few more passes than, say, 30-ish per game. I don't know that they'll get to 36. I do believe, though, they're going to run more plays. I do think they're going to stay on the field longer, and so I think there will be more rushing opportunities simply because they're going to be a more efficient offense, and that will be a piece of it. But the more we're going through camp, the more I'm starting to wonder and even think that, this is still going to be a pass-first kind of offense. Like you said, 3 quarterbacks sort of leading the charge, and they're not. Webb and Payton will not be able to help themselves. Let's just be honest. And maybe they shouldn't be.
That's what I was just going to add, that maybe it's not the worst thing. I mean, this team went 14-3 last year, so something seemed to be working when they're throwing the ball a lot. I'm not going to fault these guys if it leads to wins and they're throwing the ball all over the field. So we'll see. I still think it's best overall for this offense and for this defense if they're able to establish the run game like they did early in the year with J.K. Dobbins. But putting the ball in Bo Nix's hands is not a bad option either.
Again, to get your firsthand eyes on it, a lot of talk about Pat Bryant and the camp he's having through this first week plus. Pretty impressive.
It's been impressive. I think it's maybe a little overblown between my guys Zach and Phil here.
Really?
Just
okay.
a little
so
bit.
You're bringing it down to earth a little bit.
I will, because they've said he's had the best camp out of anybody out there. I think I would push back on that a little bit. He's had a great camp, and he's playing really well. It doesn't feel like he ever makes these massive plays, but he's just making all the right plays. So I think it's been a good camp, but maybe not as advertised by my guys Zach and Phil. My guy Zach's pushing a bit of a narrative that he thinks Pat Bryant's going to be the number 3 receiver, that he's going to be a future star for this team. So maybe he's a little bit blinded when he's out there watching practice. Again, I'm not nothing to tear down Bryant at all.
No,
but
to tear down Zach just a little bit.
Yeah, it's more to tear down Zach a little bit. They're talking about him like he's the next Jerry Rice. I think it's more likely that he's a slightly worse version of Cortland Sutton.
I am,
which I would sign up for.
Of course, absolutely, and I think Pat Bryant's really talented. I'm also not sleeping on Troy Franklin. I think this guy's going to have a terrific year, and I would not be ready to put Bryant past Franklin. The tough part in comparing them is they really are used so differently. I mean, Bryant's done a lot of the underneath work. He'll make catches in traffic, as Sean Payton talked about this week. He's got really good hands, and Troy is much more of a downfield threat. But I keep going back to 700 yards last year for Troy Franklin in an offense that all of us were going, man, they've got to be more efficient. They need bigger plays. And yet he quietly just kept grinding away, making plays, accumulating some yards. And I know it's not all about the stats. I think Troy Franklin could be in for a really, really nice season. I do.
I do too. It's going to be, the talent is there. Absolutely. The speed, the size, everything about it. He comes in and he's focused the last 2 years compared to his rookie year, which is tough. It's a big transition going from college football to the NFL. So I'm not going to give him too much flack for having a rough rookie year, let's call it. But I thought he was really good last year, and I think he's going to continue to be solid for this team. I'm worried about the opportunities that he's going to get with the arrival of Jalen Waddle. So that 700-yard mark might be tough to reach if you have Waddle going for, let's call it 1,000. You have Sutton going for, let's call it 800, 900, maybe 1,000. Who knows what Sutton's able to do. So I just think the opportunities might be slightly limited, but he's going to make the most out of all those opportunities, as is Pat Bryant. You mentioned it. Pat Bryant, very sure-handed. He's going to make all the catches. I just don't know if he has that explosion that Troy Franklin can bring, or even a guy like Marvin Mims can bring. So I'm excited to see how they're divvying up those reps when there's a third, a fourth, a fifth wide receiver out there.
It's going to be really interesting. Bryant says they're really working well together in that receiver room.
It's healthy competition is what we like to call it. At the end of the day, everybody's job on the line, but to come out here and compete, push each other, make sure everybody, doing their job, helping each other out when it's needed, and then at the end of the day, we all got the same goal, let's go out there and win.
And Bryant added that going against the corners that the Broncos have make all those guys better.
I say that whole DB room, man. It's a room full of great guys, different skill sets. You got Passer 10, you got KAD, you got Jaquan McMillan. You got a room full of great guys, and then everybody has a different technique. So it kind of prepares us for the season, just seeing different looks.
Yeah, I would have to believe the way that defense started coming on after the pads went on. That's healthy competition between the two units, and that. What are you smiling about?
No, it's just funny because I believe, who was it? Whoever spoke on, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday mentioned how it's hard to even gain a yard against this defense. And it's like, I don't envy those guys trying to go up against this Broncos defense. That does not seem like a fun job.
Evan Ingram caught a touchdown today, I believe.
Okay, so I wasn't out there today. I took a little summer Friday and did just the radio part of today. Didn't go out to practice.
Slacker. Come on, Dante.
I was out there for 4 straight days.
Well, I know. Training camps every day. Let's go. No, I'm just giving you a hard time, of course. But it would be obviously a lot of us have been looking at Ingram knowing that he needs to pick it up, and we all want that tight end room as a whole to be more productive, and all eyes on Ingram in that regard. I don't want to make too much out of touchdowns in training camp, but you do want the offense to have some success. That's why I liked last Friday on the first day of camp, the first official day with the fans when the offense came out blazing. It was before the pads went on. We know what it is. It's not the be-all and end-all. But I do want to see flashes of the offense being productive, efficient, explosive, dynamic, and I think we saw that to a healthy degree this first week plus.
It sounds like we saw it today, especially in the 2-minute drill from Bo Nix, where he was able to push the ball and they're moving it, and that's kind of, from what I heard, the perfect microcosm of this Bo Nix offense even a year ago, where maybe the first 3 quarters aren't exactly what you want, but he's going to turn it on. He's going to make the plays when you need him to, and that's what he did today out at practice. So still, again, it's those flashes that you mentioned where it's in there, but just doing it on a more consistent basis is something that is going to take this team even to the next level from what we saw a year ago.
We'll stick to the offense for a moment. Thoughts that you have on the running backs, we'll get to that. We'll also look on the other side of the ball, because there's some good things going on there, too. That's as we continue on Denver Sports Tonight.
It's Training Camp 2026, Unfinished Business. Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth will kick things off starting at 6 a.m., powered by Applied Future Technologies. Then Dover and Cecil will react live to all the action until 2 p.m. Thanks to Denver Roof Pros and Biondino Law Firm. At 2, The Drive will recap the day thanks to AeroSeal Colorado. Stay locked into Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan and DenverSports.com for all the latest news and information during football season. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Old water heater, don't wait for a cold shower to tell you it's time. Call Local Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, your trusted experts for plumbing, heating, and cooling. With experienced technicians, upfront pricing, and 24/7 availability, they're ready and local when you need them. Don't wait. Right now, they're offering $500 off a water heater replacement. Call today or schedule online. LocalPHCHelp.com. That's LocalPHCHelp.com. Local Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Call Local.
You worked hard for your money. It's time your money worked harder for you. Open a 7-month CD from Wings Credit Union and earn a guaranteed 4.4% annual percentage yield with just a $500 minimum deposit. It's one of our best rates of the year, but like all good things, it won't stick around forever. Get started today at wingsco.com/CD special. Let's figure it out together. Rate accurate as of July 31st, 2026, and subject to change without notice. Subject to eligibility. Insured by NCUA.
Summer is a time to feel and look your best, but I'm not talking about your tan or abs. Guys, I'm talking about your hair. Restore that bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to decades of thinning during Advanced Hair's once-yearly summer savings event. Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day, and it can even grow for life. Did I mention Advanced Hair even guarantees your new hair will grow? Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar during Advanced Hair's best offer ever. The summer sales event is on for a limited time, so schedule your free consultation and get the details today. 720-459-HAIR. One-day treatment, life-changing results with Advanced Hair. Your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Check out the incredible before and afters and get your savings details while still available. That's 720-459-HAIR. or advancedhair.com.
Hey, Robbie Andino here at BeatTheDA.com. I've handled about 7,000 cases, over 300 trials. Man, I see so many bad stops on these DUIs. Unlawful arrests, the police putting body cams off. The evidence is sketchy. We got to go get the evidence. We go find those cameras, the stores, the ATMs, the banks. We got the experts to challenge their breath tests, their blood tests. My office has over 100 years experience at this stuff. Hit me up at BeatTheDA.com or 720-706-5151.
Hey, it's your boy Stink. Ever wonder what if the best room in your home wasn't inside? That's exactly what Inside Outside Spaces helps homeowners create. They design outdoor spaces that actually fit how you live. From custom pergolas to patio covers, screens, decks, pavers, outdoor kitchens, and fire features, they'll help you enjoy your backyard almost year-round. Inside Outside Spaces, building outdoor spaces that feel like inside spaces. Visit InsideOutsideSpaces.com. One company, one team, one call.
When you see this in your kitchen,
The stainless steel fridge is covered in fingerprints.
you hear this.
Leslie, people are going to think you were raised in a barn or by wolves, or raised in a barn by wolves.
Fortunately, Wyman Stainless Steel 3-in-1 cleans, shines, and protects to give you the best shine. A spray and a wipe will have your fridge shining like a mirror.
Wow, my fridge looks brand new. Your fridge looks amazing, Leslie. Sorry, I was being a little dramatic earlier.
Your kitchen says a lot about you. Let it brag with Wyman.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
John's day is off to a slow start. So he heads to AutoZone, where he can get a battery for under $100. Lonnie, a local AutoZoner, tests his battery for free. Looks like he just needs a charge, and Lonnie does that for free too. In no time at all, John is back on the road, ready to finish the day strong. Free battery testing and charging at every store. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Let the big dog eat. What's up, guys? Zach here, and I am all in on golf these days. Always looking for tee times, booking lessons, and saying yes to rounds with friends. And that's why Aurora has become my go-to for playing and practicing. Yes, we're talking about practice. From beginners just starting out to competitive players, Aurora Golf has a course you'll love. All 5 courses are in beautiful shape. The staff are super friendly, and the value, man, it's tough to beat. Book your next round tonight at golfaurora.com and give their Instagram a follow at golfaurora.co.
You worked hard for your money. It's time your money worked harder for you. Open a 7-month CD from Wings Credit Union and earn a guaranteed 4.4% annual percentage yield with just a $500 minimum deposit. It's one of our best rates of the year, but like all good things, it won't stick around forever. Get started today at wingsco.com/CD special. Let's figure it out together. Rate accurate as of July 31st, 2026, and subject to change without notice. Subject to eligibility. Insured by NCUA.
It's Denver Sports Tonight on Denver Sports Station 104.3 The Fan.
Mike and Dante on this Friday night. Hope the weekend is a great one for you. Lots of good stuff going on. Talking Broncos training camp. First week plus in the books. First preseason game a week from tonight. They'll be roughly at halftime at this point next Friday night as they start against the Atlanta Falcons. Dante, we went into the break mentioning the running backs. What'd you think of Coleman? What'd you think of Harvey? And, I mean, Dobbins didn't do a whole lot this week. I hope he doesn't do a whole lot until September 14th, but that's just me.
No, I think that's fair expectation for Dobbins. Camp isn't really going to show me too much about Dobbins. At this point, I trust him when he's out there and when he's healthy, and the biggest concern with him is the injury history, and hopefully he doesn't get injured this year, but as long as he's healthy, I have no concerns.
Pinky promise.
He did pinky promise
Got the
us
pinky
that he was going to
promise
stay
going.
healthy.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I believe in that pinky promise necessarily.
So it's not gospel.
Apparently not. I know we're going to find out, I guess. I hope he's healthy all year.
Me too.
But I don't have I'm not looking for too much from him out at camp. RJ Harvey's looked great. I spoke about him a little bit ago in the last segment, but I really like what he's been able to do this training camp for the Broncos. And Jonah Coleman's coming along as well. Sean Payton seems to like him. He's spoken pretty glowingly about him a couple times in his press conferences there. So looks like all three are going to have their roles on this team, and those roles can change throughout the year, depending on Dobbins' injury history, or if maybe Jonah Coleman just comes on and takes over. Not that he's going to be getting a bulk of the carries, I don't think, as long as Dobbins is there, but there could be a three-headed monster between those three. And Harvey's role, I don't believe, is going to be running between the tackles too much, but I think Coleman can really step into that role. And we saw it 2 years ago. Sean Payton loves to interchange all these different players out on the field, and we saw Tyler Bidet get in games with 5 carries, and maybe that's what Jonah Coleman's role will be this year.
Do you think if Dobbins stays healthy, do you think the next guy who gets a touch or two as the sort of traditional running back is RJ, or is it Jonah Coleman at the beginning of the season?
Like, who's getting more carries between those two?
Yeah, I mean, so say Dobbins is healthy and he's getting primarily, but who spells Dobbins as the RB1?
I think it would be Harvey.
I think to start with it would be.
I think so too, and I think I don't think it's going to be the same sort of plays that they're running for J.K. Dobbins. I think it's a little bit more specific to Harvey's talents, which he's very talented at what he's does, but I think that he will get the second most carries as well as the second most touches. He might even get more touches than Dobbins if you factor in the running the ball and receiving the ball, but I do believe it'll be firmly a Harvey with maybe a decent-sized gap there with Coleman coming up next.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who scores more touchdowns. Harvey racked up a bunch after Dobbins went out, but in the passing game, they really like featuring RJ down around the goal line, so that'll be interesting from a fantasy perspective, and also just the production of the offense from that perspective as well. I want to flip it over to defense. I think it was Monday that you and I talked about a guy that I think is perhaps the most underappreciated Broncos defensive player, and that's Riley Moss. Do you agree with that?
Well, Anilo last night was telling me that Zach Allen is the most underappreciated.
Well, I appreciate Zach Allen.
I do too. That was kind of my take on it too. I think Zach Allen gets a lot of love around these parts.
I do too, and I think nationally he'll get even more love. And I think things will improve for Riley in that regard if he stays along the path that he's on with the way he's playing in this training camp. We know that he had all the DPIs, 10 of them, a handful for sure, were just lousy calls, but nonetheless, he sort of developed that reputation. But Riley Moss said one thing: he will ball out.
My parents have always told me this. I like to learn the hard way, and it actually helps me out in those situations because, yeah, they're going to throw the flag because I'm being too aggressive, whatever. Even VJ will tell me, keep going out there, keep playing aggressive, and it's in one ear and out the other. Like, it happens. I know I need to do better as a whole, this season, and I have been. It's been a big focus this camp, but, I'm still going to play aggressive, and I'm not going to shy away from it.
And I absolutely love that. I also think perspective is such a healthy thing, Dante, and there's a fine line sometimes between perspective and excuses, and I don't want to cross it for sure because Riley Moss made his share of mistakes. But let's just not forget, for the sake of perspective, he's playing opposite Patrick Surtain. He's still a young player who last year was really tested in a way he wasn't earlier in his first couple years. He was going up against really talented receivers, sometimes the number one, because teams would isolate those guys against Riley Moss, and Broncos can't always flip Surtain around. And I think Riley Moss is on a great trajectory. At this point, I would be more than a little surprised if he didn't get a contract extension at some point before the end of the year.
Yeah, I would agree with all of that. Riley Moss has a really difficult job out there, playing the opposite side of Pat Surtain, the best corner in the NFL. And it's not some secret that Surtain's the best corner in the NFL. Teams just don't throw at him. Quarterbacks don't throw at him out of design. I would too. I'm not trying to test that guy. So Riley Moss is going to get a bulk of the action over there. And I thought he did really well last year. I get that there was some DPI calls in there. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I want to say like 90% of those were in the first 10 weeks, and it really tapered off towards the end of the season there. So I think if he's able to continue that level of play and being aggressive, he mentioned that VJ's out there telling him, hey, go out there and keep being aggressive, which is what I would want my corner to do. Any defender, any athlete for the most part, is go out there. I'd rather you be more aggressive and make the ref call a penalty or a foul than go out there and be timid and let some big plays up. So I think Riley Moss has the right mindset when it comes to that. And he really tapered off in the penalties, and hopefully he's able to continue that into 2026 here. And I'm with you. I think that he's in store for a contract extension. I don't think it's going to be during the offseason in terms of prior to the season getting going here. I think sometime around week 4, week 6, we'll hear the news about something like that.
Yeah, it might even be a little bit later. It might be the back half of the season. That wouldn't surprise me at all. The Broncos have done that with Garrett Bowles. Benito's came, I think, in the second half of the season, if I recall correctly. But it's just so easy to think, well, with Chris Abrams' drain or Jahdae Barron, if he can figure it out. I don't, again, in a Super Bowl window, why would you mess with the other side when you have PS2, as you said, who's garnering, taking away so much defensively and such a lockdown guy, and you have someone as reliable as Riley Moss, whose upside is still off the charts to me. As a young player doing what he did, I absolutely think he can clean up the penalties. I absolutely think he will. I mean, trading Riley Moss to me right now, that's a guy you're thinking, okay, how does he fit into a contract extension, especially when you factor in a big number for Bo in the next couple of years?
And I was debating whether the Broncos should entertain trading Riley Moss prior to training camp beginning here, but everything that I've seen out of training camp is Riley Moss is balling out, and on the flip side, Jahdae Barron's leaving something there to be desired in the way he's playing. So I don't think he's ready to be the number 2 corner on this team yet. And it's don't fix it if it ain't broke. You're in a Super Bowl window. You have Riley Moss. You have a legitimate cornerback too that can go out there and play well. And you have Jahdae Barron there as a depth piece. You have Chris Abrams' drain as a depth piece. And Jaquan McMillan's been great at that slot corner. So I think it's more likely than not that we see McMillan and Moss get extended than we see Barron go over and take a starting cornerback job.
Where does the Jahdae Barron thing go this year, do you think? Just kind of rubbing up the crystal ball and
I think it's going to be
a little.
I think it's going to be pretty similar to what we saw last year, where he's in there on packages when they're in dime or when they're have 4 corners out there. But I don't think there's a huge need for him on a down-to-down basis.
I don't either. And you know what? There seems to be this hand-wringing, and I get it. He's the 20th pick of the draft. He's a first-round pick. You don't want your first-round pick to be on the bench, whether it's a Super Bowl window or not. But given the Broncos defensively and the state of their roster overall, I wish he were a little farther along, but I'm not ready to toss the kid out. And I think there's a lot of people ready to say, well, if he doesn't break through, then he's a bust. And maybe he is. And I will absolutely grant you that to this point, I thought he'd be farther along, the way the Broncos coaches were talking and Sean Payton was talking about Barron on draft night a couple of years ago. There's no doubt that I thought he would be farther down the road. Development is a weird thing. And if you have the luxury of being able to be patient with a guy even longer than you, air quotes, should be able or should be patient with him, how's that a bad thing?
I would have liked to see him go out there and earn a starting job on this team, so I'm a little disappointed that camp is going the way it is for him. But the world works in mysterious ways. Maybe, I'm not hoping for this, but maybe either Moss or Surtain have an injury at some point, have to miss a month, and Barron goes out there and really balls out and proves himself. So I'm not saying it's over for the guy, but I would have liked to see more by this point, and I think I would be close to using that B word if he's not able to go out there and prove himself this year, and we're going into year 3, and he's still somewhat of an unknown.
Well, nobody thought much. I'm just going to say it, and I'm not saying these guys are on the same trajectory. I'm using this example simply as a note of perspective, because that seems to be a theme tonight. Remember Troy Franklin's rookie training camp? And I know he took a huge step in year 2.
Also a difference in a first-round draft pick and a fourth-round draft pick.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And yet my point is just about the development curve. Maybe Troy Franklin overdeveloped in a sense in year 2, even though the Broncos talked him up and traded up, not in the first round, but as you said, in the middle rounds, the 4th round, to get him. Look, there's no question that when you draft a guy 20th overall, he should be producing at a level higher than what Jahdae Barron has produced to this point, and more than what he's shown in training camp. My only thing is, all right, if the Broncos have the luxury of bringing him along more slowly because that's his arc, I'm not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm going to stick with the kid because they can afford to. And why would
they absolutely can. Yeah. And it's a good depth piece regardless.
Sure.
So I'm not saying he needs to be cut or traded or anything like that. It's just a little disappointed that he's not an impact player like you expect out of your first-round draft pick, especially when you're drafting 20th overall and you take a guy that wasn't really a position of need. Is one of those where everyone's like, oh, did we get the steal of the draft? And it's looking like it might be the opposite at this point.
Let's hope not. Dante with the last word on that topic. We're going to pick up on something that he and Anilo were talking about last night. Well, it seems like it just a year ago. The second most important Denver Bronco is... That's next.
The Broncos defense isn't waiting for September.
You want to know what time it is? Time to play some football.
Through 3 straight padded practices this week, the defense has been flat out dominant, shutting things down from start to finish. This is a squad that went to the AFC Championship last year. And right now at camp, they look like they could be even better than last year. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
You missed it? No worries. Santiago's is giving you a second chance to grab a free unfinished business training camp t-shirt. Head to eatatsantiagos.com to find out which select Santiago's locations will be handing out 50 additional teas on the house while supplies last. But just like a good Santiago's breakfast burrito, they won't last long. Locations, dates, and times are all at eatatsantiagos.com. Fresh burritos and free gear? That's a win-win. Santiago's. Faithfully authentic.
Most people don't think about their garage door until it stops working. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner of Don's Garage Door Service. A noisy garage door is a cry for help. Most repairs are simple, but if left untreated, they can turn into costly repairs. Your garage door works hard every day, and a little maintenance goes a long way. We fix garage doors fast with quality parts designed to last a lifetime. There's never a good time for your garage door to break, whether you're rushing to work or you're trying to get the kids to school. We know how much you rely on your garage door. That's why we offer same-day repairs, because life doesn't wait, and neither should you. Over 90,000 5-star reviews don't happen by accident. They happen by putting people first. Fixing your garage door is what we do, but making your life easier and your home safer is why we do it. Families trust us because we deliver, and we'd be honored to earn your trust too. From repairs to upgrades, call Don's Garage Door Service today.
Hey guys, your boy Steve here today about my long-term buddy Troy Hansford. And if you're thinking about selling your house for any reason, now might be the time to sell, still get top dollar. Believe it or not, my guy Troy is still offering his $5,000 guarantee. What is it, you ask? Well, if you can't sell your house at your price on your timeline that you agree upon beforehand, bam, going to cut you a check for $5,000. Who else makes the offer? Nobody I've ever heard of. And he makes that offer because he continues to spend a ton of money marketing his listings, has about 100 families approved and ready to buy right now. And if for any reason you need to sell right away, Troy can buy your house, all cash, and he can close in as little as 7 days. You have a house to sell, Troy probably has that perfect buyer for you right now, waiting for you to pick up the phone and to call him. Call Troy, get your home sold for the most money. That's 720-900-4433, 720-900-4433. Troy Hansford of RE/MAX Professionals, a Colorado licensed broker. Some restrictions do apply. Want to sell your house? Then call my buddy Troy, 720-900-4433.
Men, when addressing the problem of erectile dysfunction, you want the right treatment for your specific medical situation, because every case is different, and finding the right treatment can mean the difference between just an okay experience and an amazing one. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and at our practices, we offer the full range of ED treatment protocols and can even combine therapies to help make those intimate moments special, both for you and your partner. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, we're the leader in treating ED in the area. Our medical providers specialize in men's sexual health and understand that no two cases are are alike, which means you'll get the right treatment for you based on sound medical evaluation and appropriate applications of medical therapies. Plus, we offer treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most men, you'll get your sex life back. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. We have 5 offices across the Front Range to serve you.
You bought an RV, and you got an automatic discount from Progressive by bundling it with your home or auto insurance. That's great, but a serious word of warning every RVer should heed. You don't need to talk about things like dry weight or dump stations. And you don't need one of those expensive water filter straws either. Because the most extreme thing most RVers encounter is a campsite without hookups. So just enjoy yourself. And Progressive's automatic discount when you bundle your RV, boat, or motorcycle with your home or auto insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
And we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Free at every AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
At Applied Future Technologies, they use AI and automation to solve real business problems. How much time does your team lose to repetitive tasks, manual data entry, and searching through information? They build practical solutions around your organization's unique needs. Tools that organize and analyze information, streamline workflows, reduce backlogs, and support faster decisions. Give your team more time to focus on what matters most. Discover what Applied Future Technologies can automate for you at appliedfuture.com.
Garth Brooks is coming to Denver. The Blame It All on My Roots Arena Tour hits Ball Arena September 4th and 5th, and you don't want to miss it. General tickets are on sale now, but here's the best part. We're giving you a shot to win tickets. Just head to the Denver Sports app and enter for your chance to win. Don't have the app yet? Now's the time to download it. Get entered, and we'll see you at the show. Denver Sports Station 104.3 The
we had yesterday, and me and Danilo didn't necessarily see eye to eye. I think we both value both guys that we brought up, but it was definitely the guy that he said was not somebody that I was considering, and the guy that I said I don't think he was considering either. My answer was Garrett Bowles on the offensive line, left tackle. I just think that position is so important, and he has been somebody that maybe we sort of take for granted with how well that he's played recently, and coming in on the NFL's top 100 list this season, first time ever. I just feel like he has been a very stable aspect of this team, and we've had some injuries along the rest of the offensive line, but it feels like he is ready to go every single week, and he's out there not only being a culture setter for this Broncos team, but it feels like he's ready to die out there for Bo Nix, and that's the kind of left tackle I want out there.
Yeah, that's a tough one to argue, but I'm going to do my best. Because if you're talking about the Broncos, the way they've been playing over the last year, really, I have to look at defense. And, I mean, the most important player defensively to me is Patrick Surtain. He does so much to take away what an offense is going to do. You know that wherever Surtain is, that he is taking away a chunk of the field for an offensive coordinator. And it not only limits what an OC can do or would like to do or potentially have success doing against the Broncos, but Dante, it also gives Vance Joseph so many doggone options. When I don't care what the coverage is, I don't care what the down and distance is, I don't care what the time of the game is, you can put PS2 anywhere on the field doing anything you want him to do, and there's a very good chance he's going to be successful at it. Yeah, you look back at the Indy game, and by his own admission, he has to be better. There will be relatively a clunker here and there where he's not up to his stellar self, but that's further and farther between, if you know what I mean. I just think he cuts the field down so much for an offense, and given that right now the Broncos are still in that window where they're trying to get the offense more productive, I got to go with the defensive guy. I got to go with number 2.
I think that's a great answer as well. It's hard for me to argue against Pat Surtain, the best cornerback in the NFL. I just think that position in general is such a team position, if that makes sense. And I get that he almost does it individually, the way that he cuts off these guys, but a lot of it is safety help and another corner out there and the pass rush getting there in time, so the coverage, lasts as long as it needs to. So I get where you're coming from, and I think he's great at what he does, but I think that this team would be in a lot worse situation if Garrett Bowles goes down than a guy like Pat Surtain goes down.
Well, and to your point, and I'll help make your point for you, I mean, the Broncos were without Patrick Surtain for a little bit last year when he got hurt. Now, it wasn't quite the same, but they sure held their own when it came to wins and losses. And again, look, I'm not sitting here saying, well, Garrett Bowles is he's just your sort of run-of-the-mill tackle and, isn't that valuable? No. Garrett Bowles is on course to be a Ring of Famer, and you don't toss that out lightly. And at that position on Bo Nix's blind side as a right-handed QB, yeah, I give you props, but if you were to force me to say who's the next Bronco you're keeping next to Bo Nix, I got to go Patrick Surtain because the defense just means so much. It means so much to a team in general, right? We all know that as football fans. But the fact is that unit played so well and allowed the Broncos to maintain contact while the offense was sputtering around. I lean D because of how good that unit is, and he's the most talented player on that unit.
Let's go a little bit deeper on the list, because I actually didn't even have Surtain as my number 3. I had Zach Allen at number 3.
Yeah.
I just think the way that he just disrupts a game is something to marvel at, and I don't think Nick Bonito and Jonathan Cooper have the success they're having without a guy like Zach Allen rushing up the middle. Again, nothing to take away from Pat Surtain, but I just think Zach Allen is a physical beast out there. He's smart the way he's played. He's been with VJ in 2 stops now, so he knows, or VJ knows what to expect out of Allen, and he, again, I feel like is a unsung hero of this team.
I might go Allen 3, Bowles 4.
Okay.
I really might, because I was thinking of Allen as 2 because of what you said. To have a guy in the middle of your defensive line be able to blow things up, not just blow things up, but get pressure on the quarterback up the middle, that is a luxury. There isn't a quarterback alive who's ever played the game that really is like, oh yeah, pressure up the middle is no big deal. Quarterbacks hate pressure up the middle.
It's hard for them to step up in the pocket, which every NFL quarterback likes to do at this point. It really makes the quarterback at that point kind of figure out, hey, am I going right, am I going left, or am I going to back pedal here, which no quarterback wants to backpedal in that scenario. So if you make them go right or make them go left, make them decide, you're cutting the field in half again at that point. And he creates pressure that a guy coming off the edge just simply can't, just due to position.
Yeah, so I'm making it official. Bo, Patrick Surtain, Zach Allen, Garrett Bowles, my top 4 Broncos.
All right. I like it. I'm pretty similar. At Bo 1, I think that's the easy one. I'm going to go Bowles 2, Zach Allen 3, and I'll go Surtain 4.
And when Bonito isn't in the top 4, he's lurking for me.
Well, that just shows how good of a roster this team is.
That's exactly right, Dante. Going to be a lot of fun. Hey, enjoy the weekend. Always good to be with you. Thank you, my friend. That's Dante Gomez. I'm Mike Rice. Hope all you guys have a wonderful weekend. We'll talk to you Monday night on Denver Sports Tonight.